Hi, I'm May for SoapEquipment.com. Today we'll be making cold process soap from start to finish. The equipment I'll be using today is a single loaf mold, scales, liner paper, soap cutter, thermometer, pitcher, mixing pot, measuring cups, and a power wand. Now let's not forget safety equipment, nitrile gloves, eye protection, a lab coat or other protective clothing. The ingredients I'll be using today are olive oil, coconut oil, vegetable oil or shortening, sodium hydroxide, also known as lye, and water. The soap making equipment used in this video is available at SoapEquipment.com, developing creative solutions for the handcrafted industry. Okay, our equipment's ready, safety equipment on, ingredients ready, now let's get started. The first thing I'd like to demonstrate today is how to zero out the scale. Turn the scale on and wait until the display reflects 0. Then place the empty container in which you'll be using to measure the ingredients onto the scale. The display will now reflect the weight of the container. Hit the tare button and the scale will go back to 0. You're now ready to measure the ingredients. As you measure the ingredients into the container, the scale will just reflect the weight of the ingredients. Now you'll want to remember that each time you remove the container, you'll want to zero the scale back out again. You'll want to do the same thing when measuring multiple ingredients after each addition. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's get started making soap. Now I'm ready to measure the water so that I can prepare the lye solution. You want to watch the scale closely because accuracy of measurements is very important in soap making. You'll see that I put on protective equipment like nitrile gloves and eye protection. Now remember, you should always pour the lye into the water and not the other way around. This is a part of the soap making process in which some people prefer to wear a respirator, as this will cause some fumes. Continue stirring this solution until all of the lye has dissolved into the water. Once all of the lye has dissolved, it's now time to take the temperature. Now we're ready to measure the oils. Place an empty container onto the scale and zero it out. The first item I'm adding into my mixing pot is the coconut oil. Remember to zero out the scale again, and then I add the shortening. Once again, zero out the scale, and the final oil I'm adding is the olive oil. I'm measuring the essential oils into a separate container to use later. Now I'm ready to thoroughly melt the oils. Do this by placing the pot onto low heat and continue stirring until completely melted. Once the oils have melted, you'll want to bring them up to the temperature that your recipe recommends. It's also good to take the temperature of the oils so that you can see how close they are to the lye water solution. As you're waiting for the lye water solution and your oils to cool to the desired temperatures, it's a great time to line the mold. I suggest pre-cutting a stock of quality liner paper. This saves time by doing multiples and they're at hand and ready to use. I also pre-fold mine before coating the mold with shortening. You'll want to thoroughly cover the mold with a thin coating of shortening. Now you're ready to place the pre-cut liner paper into the mold, pressing down gently and aligning with your hands. Once you have the liner paper smoothed down into the mold with your hands, you can use a plastic spatula to get rid of any bubbles or creases. Just smooth the plastic spatula along the sides and bottom of the mold to smooth the liner paper. Then use your hands to place more liner paper on each end. Now the mold is ready and prepared for soap. Now it's time to check to see if the lye water solution and the oils have cooled down to the desired temperature. I prefer my temperatures to be between 95 and 100 degrees. Great! It looks like they're both at the proper temperatures and we can mix them together. You'll start by making sure the blade of the power wand is completely in the oils before turning it on low speed. Slowly pour in the lye water solution. Continue to mix on low until all of the ingredients have been thoroughly combined. Once all of the ingredients have been thoroughly combined, you can turn the power wand up to high speed and then alternate between high and low speeds. The lye water solution combined with the oils starts a process called saponification, which makes soap. The fastest and easiest way to mix a small batch of soap is with the power wand. This normally takes about 3 to 10 minutes. You will continue mixing until you've reached the desired level of trace. Trace is a point in soap making where the mixture reaches a certain consistency or thickness, most noticeable when the soap is dribbled upon itself and leaves a trail before disappearing back into the mixture. Today I'll be mixing to a thick trace. You'll want to use a medium to thick trace with our molds. To check for trace, you'll want to remember to turn the power wand off before lifting it out of the mixture. Then you will just dribble some of the soap that's on your wand over the soap mixture. There are different levels of trace, and as you experiment with soap making, you'll find the level of trace that you're most comfortable working with. Once you've reached your desired level of trace, you'll be ready to mix in your essential oils. Slowly pour in the essential oils as you continue mixing on low speed. You'll want to continue mixing until all of the essential oils have been completely combined into the soap mixture. Just be careful not to overmix. Once the essential oils have been completely combined, you're ready to pour. Slowly pour the soap into the prepared mold to avoid any air pockets. Once most of the soap is poured into the mold, you can use a rubber spatula to remove the remainder of the soap that is left in the pot. You will also use the rubber spatula to smooth the soap on the top of the mold. Once you smooth the soap on the top of the mold, you'll lay a piece of liner paper over the top. Then wrap the entire mold in a blanket or thick towel. This is to keep the soap warm to continue the saponification process. With a small mold such as this, overnight to 24 hours and the soap is ready to demold. To demold, you simply pull up on the liner paper and remove the loaf from the mold. Slowly remove the liner paper from the loaf to prepare for cutting. Today I'm using the loaf cutter, in which you simply place the entire loaf onto the loaf cutter and pull down on the handles. This will cut your soap into perfect uniform bars. The final step is carefully removing your bars and placing onto your drying trays. Thanks for watching, and remember, the soap equipment used in this video is available at soapequipment.com, creative solutions for the handcrafted industry.